actually doing it. He said, how far along were you? And she's like, well, I had the note wrote and tablets were ready and stuff like that. And he said, you're going to, because she'd started to take herself off her tablets. And then he said, look, you need to go back on to that. Yeah, she'd tried. I mean, she's doing really well this time round, but he said, you're going to have to go back on them because, where you are now, you're very low. So when we went back I went to doctor with her because I didn't leave her side for a few weeks after that. I went back to doctor with her, and the fucking doctor, the way she was, it was just, all right, so what tablets do you want to go on? And she just swung the computer screen round. She's like, well, what ones are these? Have you done these ones before? Do you want to try these ones? There's no conversation between the doctors. And I know their hands are tied with time, but it was just like,
time.
It was just like, I'll go on this one. And they tried that one, and that didn't work. And she tried that one, and that didn't work. And she went back onto the one she's been on now for a few years that she was on when she first started. But I've always thought there was something different about the missus. I don't think it's depression. It's up and down. And it's, she's live wire and quiet. Mainly always quiet. But I kept saying there's something else. There's bipolar, there's BPD. And this has caused argument. She was like, shut up, what the fuck, rightly so, what the fuck do I know? I'm only a Wikipedia doctor, do you know what I mean? I'm checking on things. But we had a customer come in who, she suffers massively from bipolar. And we got talking, and Abby said, so what is it that made you, she started listing all these things, and, being reckless with money, being reckless with your body when you're younger, drugs, drink, trying to find worth in this. And Abby was like, yeah, that sounds like me. So I was like, do you finally think you should go get a diagnosis? So she started seeing someone and getting a diagnosis. And I'm like, well, there is shades of bipolar, but there's mainly BPD, so split personality disorder. Yeah. And going into all of that with her, and it's like, now she's finally realised that she's been on antidepressants for 20, 25 years, and it was completely the wrong thing to be on. And it's had such a massive impact in her life, and in our relationship, and arguments and problems, and now she's finally got what we think is the right diagnosis. She's starting to wean herself off the tablets, and the last 2 months have been nightmare. Really? Coming off, when someone's, like you say, you've done them, I don't know how long you've done them for, but when someone's done them for literally...
Like 2 weeks, mate.
Yeah,
max.
she's done it her whole life. So you imagine spending your whole life feeling numb, low sex drive, angry, not wanting to be around people, taking yourself out of everything, and then coming off of them.
So how do you deal with that then? So you've been with Abby for 10 years now, you're married, you've got a business together.
I don't... I think I deal with it.
If I'm being honest with you, mate, knowing me, I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, there's been many times. There's been many times where I felt like walking. But jokingly wise, one of the things, like, I do hold on to some of the things that Dad taught me. And it was like, we don't quit, dude. We don't fucking quit. And when you do something, you see it through.
That's fair enough.
I despise quitters. I fucking hate them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's a time to know you can't do something. I can't fucking ice skate and I can't roller skate. No matter how many times everybody's gone, come on, let's go. I'm like, I can't do it. So I'm not a misog. There's no point. Let me put my arse, I'll hurt myself. And I've tried. I really have tried. But at the same time, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. And I'm going to do it regardless. I don't give a fuck. If I'm put out, I'm going to do it. And she's even said to me, you can go. You can fucking go if you want to go. And I thought, fucking it'll just be easier to walk, man. Yeah. But I think when you're married and when you've got kids, like, I've been in her son's life since he was 12, 13, and she's practically raised Jess. It's not just about you. And I think this is where my traditional views come in. Like we said about 80s husband and wife, you don't fucking walk out. Times are going to be hard. Marriage isn't happiness. Marriage isn't about being fucking happy. Marriage is about you deciding to have a union and do shit together. I mean, we joke about it. It's weird. And even when you start dating someone, it's like, hey, do you want to like knock about for a bit together and like go food and that and go cinema? Yeah. And then when you marry someone to live with, do you want to like live in a house together? It's a fucking weird concept. But she asked me to marry.
You follow what you think's normal.
Yeah.
Don't you?
She asked me to marry her many times. And I was like, fuck off. I never said I'd have a kid and I never said get married. And now I've got a kid and I've got fucking married. But I proposed to her and I thought about it long and hard and thought about all the shit that went on and thought about the problems we had up to that point. And I just thought, you know what? If I'm going to fucking do it, then let's do it. Yeah. So, come hell or high water, bar death, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So you're with Abby now, mate, till
I'm done, man. Till I'm done. Well, she can fucking leave me, I suppose, which is a prerogative. Which I'm sure she'd like to a lot of the time. There has been plenty of times. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know your relationship, mate, but you know, over the years when I've seen you together and stuff like that, it's a powerful duo, mate. It's a good.
We have a weird one. Like, other than her issues, obviously, and I've got my own issues, but yeah, we do have a weird one. The amount of people in the studio that when they hear us talk to each other, we talk to each other like mates. We fucking cuss out. We fucking slag each other like hell.
I'm surprised, mate, when she was being me tattoo, she didn't fucking tattoo cunt into me the amount of times that you said that. You can.
I will. but I'm like
it's
I'm
fun though, mate. I fucking say it all the time. I love that word.
Yeah.
Some people look at you and go, "Was that a do?" A few weeks ago with obviously Michelle is. How would you describe Michelle? Quite laid back.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah.
You know, nice. All the rest of it.
Easy going.
And I can be that, and I can also be 20% of what you are. Okay. And I'm pissed up, but I'm not aggressive. I'm just having a laugh, and then it gets towards the end of the night. And I'm stood there with Michelle, some business partner of hers, and her fella, and they're very like, a little bit posh, a little bit more well-to-do. And then this woman's fucking come out of nowhere, pissed up, leaned into the table, spilled all our drinks. And I went, "Are you alright, you stupid cunt?" And then this mate of Michelle's just went, like I was one in the fucking wrong, So it's funny how some people still look at things and people is like, "Oh wow."
I mean, the
really
picture I sent you earlier on was at a mate's wedding, and it was in what's it called, New York Street Townhouse. Nice gaff, and obviously there's no one else that's as heavily tattooed as me at the do. So we're there, and the people, you could see people like, "Who's that?" And Paddy's like, my mate who got married, he's like, he'll be the one that's fucking swearing. He'll be the one that's causing a fucking scene. If there's an argument that's going to happen, it's going to be that fucking arsehole. Yeah. He said he has to do it. He's that one. And people always say, why do you invite him out? He's like, because that's just him.
Yeah.
I had an issue recently, got accused of malicious communications on the internet. I had a customer that, it wasn't even a customer, an inquiry that went wrong. And then the guy tried to ruin the business, and I give back as good as I get. I don't prescribe to all this fucking bullshit of being nice to a customer. If you're a piece of shit, mate, then you've met your match, because I'll give you both barrels. I don't give a fuck if you slag me on the internet. I don't give a fuck if you badmouth my business, because at the end of the day, I've said it before and I say it again, this customer is always right is fucking bullshit. Because unfortunately...
You came from America.
Yeah, there are arseholes in the world, and arseholes can fucking be arseholes a lot. You sound with us at the studio, we'll be sound with you. But if you want to dig your heels in and be a fucking arsehole... And
it's happened a couple of times, that.
It's happened a couple of times,
a couple of times. I remember Abby dealt with the first one. I can't remember the details, but I'm referring to one quite a number of years ago. But she dealt with that. And then obviously, I did see this occasion, but again, I can't remember the details. But so go on, what was the situation there?
It just, it was asking for something. And as you full well know, over text and over emails, you can't get what people are saying sometimes. No. So I asked him to come in. He made an excuse about. He booked to come in. He made an excuse about not coming in. I mean, other people are busy. I get that. And then I just said, look, and he was like, I'll give you an email, and wrote this massive email out. And when you're trying to get in someone's head about a tattoo, I mean, even in text messages, you can misconstrue what people are saying. So I was like, you're going to have to come in. You've got to come in, dude. He was like, well, I'm really busy at the minute, so we need to sort of our email. And I'm like, right, okay, it's, red flag already. If you can't, you're asking for quite a complex tattoo, and if you can't be bothered to come in, I've got people who like, if yourself was still rolling with a tattoo, I'm dealing with you first. So we just, put him to the back burner for a day or two. And then I get messages like, oh, I'm still interested in coming in. And I'm just like, yeah, but we don't know what you want. And then we've got a few cancellations. So I put up on the internet that we've got slots and cancellations. And he kept commenting, I'll jump in there. I'm like, dude, you want these highly detailed pieces on your arm. You can't just jump in last minute for a slot. This needs a consultation with that. Because Abby needs to sit down with a guy and get his head into it, work out where he's coming from. Like, even with simpler tattoos, you might say, oh, like your tattoo, oh, I want a ship's wheel. Well, what wheel do you want? You know what you want. That's it, yeah. We don't know what you want.
No, yeah.
So we had...
Yeah, because it was like the whole consultation period where she goes, right, okay, and potentially what else do you want?
Yeah.
Well, potentially we could put this
together.
We could add
and that's
that,
it.
We could do that.
And that's something that...
You're like, fuck, now that's going to be mint.
That's
and then she goes, right, well, I'll draw it up.
And sometimes it changes. And that's something on your sleeve where you've got stuff and it's not... This was literally ridiculously detailed. He wanted this certain thing facing a certain way in his arm, and it had to have a certain thing here and a certain thing there. So we kind of like... Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'd be the same. Come in, mate, please.
Of course, yeah, just come in. So it ended up not coming in. And then pipping review on the page. Undoubtedly the tattooist is extremely talented, but the backroom staff have a lot to be desired. So he puts all this, he's like, I have contacted them this many times. So I've screen grabbed all these conversations, just put it up and said, well, if you're going to come on and give a bad review, tell the truth. I asked you to come in this time, so here's the evidence. Because I do everything via email, everything via text message, it's got screen grabs and everything. I said, da-da. Anyway, he then puts up a reply, tries to be clever, and I thought, right, I'll leave it there. Next morning I wake up, as always, go through emails, start going through business emails, and I'm sat there and I'm actually telling this story to a customer at the time, and this email comes through from a random name. The problem is, on Microsoft, if you send it through the same IP or the same phone or the same laptop,
It'll recognise a name.
Yeah, it'll recognise a name. Email addresses aren't just Tim at blah, blah, blah. They're massive. And all that coding behind the email puts the same thing up. So I knew who it was as soon as he emailed.
Sometimes links the previous email.
Sometimes it does. So it came up and he started off, I want to get a tattoo, I want to use a small studio. And I was like, check this out. So I made everybody in the studio aware of what's going on, replied back to him, played along the game. And in the end I called him out. Don't know what you're bloody talking about, you nut job. This is why I wouldn't use you. You're going to end up bad man for me on the internet. And I was like, listen, dude, I know it's you. I've called you out. Just go away.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, this guy seems like the sort of guy who's going to take this further. 2 days later, I'm sat in the studio, blue light, 2 police turn up. Come in the studio on a Saturday afternoon.
Fucking hell, man.
You need to take the post down. And the first question was, can I have a word in private? And I went, no, because I know what it's about. It's a business issue, so you can talk to me in business. So she said, oh, I'm coming about the posts on the internet. You need to remove them. I'm asking you to remove them. And I said, well, I'm going to film you, just so you know. I said, this will be going on social media to update about people about what's going on. She was like, yeah, that's fine. And so Abby, being Abby, who was tattooing at the time, when she went, this is about the Facebook post, Abby went, oh, fuck off. So the girl went, the female post officer went, don't tell me to fuck off. I've come in nice. And I went, hang on, I'll stop you there. She wasn't telling you to fuck off. I said, but no, you haven't come in nice. You've come in on our busiest day. You blue lighted. You went the wrong way up a one-way street. Blue lighted. You went the wrong way up a one-way street. You nearly knocked that lady over. I said, two of you have come over. One's gone Greg's. I said, you've come in here, and you've come in here on our busiest day when the studio's rammed and the high street is rammed. I said, so no, you haven't come in here for a quiet chat. If you wanted a quiet chat, email me. Ask me to come to a voluntary at the police station. So she's gone, right, well, I'm all right. I'm asking you to take the post down. I said, the post isn't coming down. I said, and I'll be honest with you. I said, I'm not fucking dealing with it. I said, so you can get yourself out of the studio.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
So she left the studio. I put it on the internet. It went viral. 100,000 views. Fucking tens of thousands of comments. Most my side, most giving me shit, saying you shouldn't talk to a police officer like that, blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of people backing me up saying, hang on a minute, we're in this new era of equality now, and if she wants to be a police officer... I did say to her at the time, do I have to be nice to you and talk to you nicely? And she went, talk to me how you want. I went, cool. And I kind of explained it to her. Anyway, turns out the guy's a piece of shit. He's not a very nice guy, let's just put it this way. And when I spoke to the police officers later on down the line, because he put no complaint against me, I put no complaint against him, and they said, why are you bothering? Why do you have to be a white knight? And I said, well, if he goes around doing this to a lot of other businesses, a lot of people, it seems to be what he gets his kicks out of. I know most people in businesses wouldn't want the bad publicity. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. Our product speaks for itself. I'm not going to hush because I think I might get bad-mouthed on the internet.
No, mate, I think if everyone had that attitude and that approach to these people,
they would just stop doing it. They'd instantly stop doing it. They wouldn't be able to do it. I mean,
it's like you go into somewhere, you're unreasonable. The business do their best to obviously
try and make it reasonable.
You then go, right, fuck it, 1-star review.
Yeah.
And then you expect just to get away with that.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's funny as well with people on the internet were saying that some of the comments, because I was reading all the comments, is like, but you're a business, you should behave in a business way. And I'm like, mate, we're a fucking tattooist. We're already on the fucking fringes of society. I don't mean to be funny, but go into any tattooist and tell them to fuck off and see what happens. I mean, 99% of tattooists are going to either put you on your fucking ass or you're going to get thrown out the shop Spartan style. And it's weird, it's like...
But again though, mate, I've been in there. Michelle has had stuff done there. I've recommended people there. My auntie being one of them, you know. Recently, sister's fella, he's gone there.
Yeah.
So I find it a very professional setting, you know. Different, but again, it's a tattoo shop.
Exactly.
So
I mean, it ain't Tesco.
It's all part and parcel of...
This is what I kept trying to say. When people in the comments
again.
were saying, you know, you've got a responsibility as a small business, I'm like, I don't have a responsibility to fucking no one. As long as we are professional, clean, our certs and insurances and everything up to date, and you get a good product, I don't particularly have to be in any particular way.
No.
I'm a small business, and if someone's being a fucking arsehole...
What you are though, mate, is personable.
Exactly.
Everyone.
This is the point. This is the point. The amount of people that come in
if I come into you and be an absolute cunt, then guess what?
You're going to get cunt back.
Be a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I go in and be reasonable, chatty, friendly, then I'm going to get that back as well.
As you probably know, and like dealing with your business as well, and dealing with your face-to-face customers, we have all sorts of people, up, down, left, right, elderly, young, and everybody that's come in, 99.9% of them,
fine.
Joe's harsh, Joe's to the point. But you know what? I'd rather be that. I mean, we've had young 19-year-old girls that are in university and in that whole woke culture have conversations with me, and I'll adapt and have conversations with them.
You should do. You should film.
Could you imagine it being filmed?
That channel will go off. Mate.
Oh mate, can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, this that went viral went off big time. I had people threatening to come to the studio. This kid was like, "What if I brought two big lads down to have a word with you about the way you speak to women?" I'm like, "Cool, I'd speak to a male police officer the same way I spoke."
Bring two more.
Bring them. I wouldn't be asked, because you know what? I'd sit there and have a conversation with him, I can guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, we've even had it. There's a guy we're chatting with at the minute who said exactly that. He said, you know, you're a bit abrupt in your messages, or you might be short sometimes. And he's like, you need to ring me. And I'm like, no, mate, you ring me. You want to come to my shop and all this and all that. And I said, just come down and have a chat with us. He's come down. The guy's sounded, he's like, I was expecting it to be aggression and temper and all that because of the emails we've received. Because he was asking for something, we were telling him it wouldn't work. And he was like, well, I'm a paying customer. I'm like, well, find another studio then, because at the end of the day, you know, you have a bad deal at work, that bad deal reflects badly on you. I said, if we deliver a rubbish tattoo or a rubbish cover up or a rubbish this or a rubbish that, no one goes, oh well, I chose it, it's they did it, it's Temple that did it. So he came in and it's like, you know what, you guys are sound, you're mint, I love being here, it's mint. He's like, he's got a lot of tattoos, he's like, it's the best tattoo experience I've had, and it ain't just a tattoo that's mint, it's the shit that goes with it. It's conversation.
The whole experience, man.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And I think that's what tattooing should be. There's a lot of tattooists nowadays tattoo with their earphones in. And if that's their bag, because they've got, you know, some of them do suffer anxiety and issue. But, you know, when you're sitting there for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
Or, like me, 2 hours.
2 hours. Crying.
Fucking over probably, 20, 25 hours, was it? Over the course of like 18.
Yeah, but mate, we've had a guy come in recently who started getting tattooed us when we first opened, and he's only just had his sleeve finished. It's been 8 years. It's been 8 years.
Oh, it's mad, yeah. So, like, the only time I ever got a tattoo separate to obviously you guys at Temple is when I was in Ireland just back in the 2022. And I just got this cladder thing that's been in the family for years.
Yeah.
Michelle got a matching one, didn't do the whole initials thing or nothing like that. But the guy was fucking great, mate.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Irish. Told us all about his life, you know, all his drugs and his mental health and this abuse and that abuse, and
just makes it easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what, mate? Genuinely, it was like the fucking Irish version of Temple Tattoo.
It just makes it easy, doesn't it? It does, though, doesn't it? It makes it easy.
It was good because obviously it was only a small piece, so it probably took about an hour. You know, so we had about 2.5 hours all prep and everything afterwards. But he was just a fucking great guy, mate. You know, probably wouldn't, you know, invite him to round to my house on a weekly basis because, you know, it was a bit weird. But he was fucking great, mate. Yeah. He was fucking unique.
I think it does. I think a lot of tattooists need to, you know, I've heard really bad stories about some high-profile tattooists who don't want to have a conversation with people while they're tattooing them. And, you know, at the end of the day, you are a product to your customers, and we can't survive without our customers. So if customers come in and, I mean, how many times have you been and had a good meal somewhere, but the staff have been rude and you don't go back? You know, just because you're getting a great...
Well important, mate.
It's massively important being able to have a conversation with someone. And I'm pretty good at gauging people. I'm pretty good at picking up on keys. You know, like I say, I've had it where I've got on my high horse about some women's rights or something. Recently, it was made illegal to wolf whistle. And I'm like, oh, it's pretty... pretty pathetic, that. And the girl we were with, she's great. She's cool. And she's like, well, actually... And she was just about... And I remember Abby just looking at me going... you know, just this one's not the right time. You know, I just step back. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, sometimes men can be idiots, can't they? Yeah. And it is, but it's now sexual harassment to wolf whistle someone, and you can be done for it. It's crackers, isn't it? That's what I mean. It's like, and she said to me, well, if you're defending it, why do you think it's okay? I says, well, I don't think I've actually ever wolf whistled someone. I might have done it under my own breath and gone, oh yeah. And I've kept it to myself. She's fit, but at the same time, it is a bit fucking childish, and it is crass. But at the same time, I would turn around and say, well, you know, we've had girls in the studio that get wolf whistled, and they turn around and they're like, fuck you, you fucking prick. And the guys shrink. Of course they do, because it's like, it is a bit of a power thing, isn't it? But just fucking shut up, you fucking idiot. And they shrink, and it's done with. But
the thing is, mate, I mean, you do get you do get some guys on a night that go too fucking far.
Oh, absolutely. I hate
now,
lecchies.
If we're going to be honest, mate, right? If a fit bird walks past, me and you are sat in a bar now, sat in a coffee shop, a fit bird walks in, we'll stop our conversation, and between ourselves we'll go, fucking hell, see that?
Yeah.
She's fit. Because that's fucking nature.
That's
mate.
nature, yeah.
If a female fucking dog goes onto the part, the male dog's fucking on it. It's just nature.
This is kind of what I touched on it with this whole like toxic masculinity bullshit in this. It's like, yeah, toxic masculinity works up until the point where a woman has a problem. And then all of a sudden you want that big, strong fucking man. It's like yourself being in the forces. I don't want a fucking pussy to be in the forces because you guys have got to make the bad decisions. You guys have got to be the ones that when that guy says do that, you've got to fucking do it. You don't need a wokey to do shit like that. And it's like, you're trying to change. And this is the problem is because, you know, the pendulum swings. And if you demonise men for being men, you know, we're constantly building women up. And partly rightly so. But, you know, who's building the men up? It's okay to be a dude. It's okay to do dude things. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make a mess. It's okay to say the wrong thing. Again, talking to my mate at fighting, the girl. And we were talking about periods because my daughter's at the age where she's probably going to start a period soon. And she was like, the girl I was talking to, she was like, mate, you don't understand. A week before, our heads are mashed. Yeah. They're mashed. And then
we don't get that.
We don't get we don't get that. We don't understand it. But I said, but at the same time, then you must understand as a 18, 19, 20-year-old lad who's fucking fluffing his feathers in town. All he wants to do is fight, fucking drink beer. Yeah. I says, you know, but we demonise that. Don't get me wrong. Fucking wanton violence is a fucking joke. But you know, there's a lot of testosterone in a nightclub on a Friday night, and it's got to go somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. Again, I'm not advocating for fight, and I'm not saying it's right, but why do we make excuses? It's part of life, and why do we make excuses for your missus when she's having a bad and she's on one, and you're like, oh, it's, you know, as a man we say all the things we say, painters are in, whatever. But yet when a bloke acts in a way that's controlled by his hormones, arsehole, narcissist, toxic, aggressive, alpha. Yeah, wait until your car breaks down. Who do you call? Wait until if this Putin.
It's not your mum, is it?
If this Putin stuff goes wrong, who's going to go out there? Because it's a load of 19-year-old lads full of testosterone with hard dicks and guns.
It's true, and like Andrew Tate. So I'm not going to name the female, but there's a female on my social media, and I don't do Facebook anymore. It's shite.
Agreed. Social media.
I want to say I don't do it, mate. I mean, I generally just don't look. It's not in my habits anymore. Which is great. Instagram completely different. Businesses are on there, but Facebook couldn't give a fuck. But every now and then I will go on and scroll and see what's happening. And this girl said, why are we, as a society, or why are males using Andrew Tate as this fucking god, and everyone wants to behave like him, we should behave like Andrew Tate, and why not choose someone like David Beckham? And in the fucking comments, mate, which I'm grateful for, fucking dealt with her. Yeah. Because if not, then I'd have had to have said something, which isn't really like me, because I think I'm going to say something, do you know what? I can't be fucking arsed because it's going to go somewhere and I'm going to have to fucking have a go at her. I can't be arsed with it. It's just fucking bad for my own head. Yeah. But the comments was fucking, and they were like, do you not know what David Beckham's done?
Yeah, exactly.
But what's Andrew Tate done fucking wrong, mate?
Well, this is the thing. It's like when people are constantly doing that, and I mean, I've got a child at school who's had assemblies telling kids not to do this, telling kids not to idolise Andrew Tate. It's like, okay, so who else do you want? Young men to idolise?
Sam Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Who else do you want men to idolise? Who else?
Do you know, mate? I don't give a fuck about what people think of me or what I say, but Sam Smith, nothing about Sam Smith do I want my son as a 5-year-old boy to be looking at. No. And thinking, oh, that's cool because he's a pop star. Yeah. Like, no, he's fucking not, and I'll tell my son that. Yeah. Straight, like that is not how we behave.
Yeah, absolutely. That is not how you should behave, and I think Sam Smith is a bit of a puppet himself anyway. He's being the strings are being pulled. Yeah. You know.
But this is mental health though. So like my son in his class, Missy said to you before, he's got a lad. Whenever it's a fancy dress party or fucking well booked day, he comes dressed as a female, man. Yeah. Now that's fucking pathetic. Yeah. He's 5 years of age. Yeah. Now, if people think that's right, then I'm sorry, it's fucking not, because there's some parental.
Of course there is. At 5, of course there is.
Someone's pushing something there.
I have got absolutely zero issue with what anybody wants to do. Yeah. I could not. I could not care. But like you say, it's like when people start feeding their cats vegetarian diets. Your cat ain't a fucking vegan, mate. It's you that's making the cat fucking vegan. But yeah, I mean,
where's it? I mean, we could sit here now for like 6 hours and discuss this, but where's all this going to go? Because it's confusing.
I think you know what? I think I had this question asked to me today by a lad that was being tattooed, and I think it is calming down. I mean, the Tavistock Centre got shut. And more people, thanks to people like Elon Musk, who have allowed now, like you couldn't push back on Twitter a few years ago. You'd just get banned. And now because Elon Musk has took over, it's kind of like, yes, I'm sure you'll still get banned if you say certain things. Like there's certain people we can't name, there's certain things you can't say. You can't mention what went on a few years ago where we were all living in our houses. You can't mention. But you see it more and more. Like I was banned off Twitter a long time ago. And I'm kind of back on there now that Elon's thinking. And you see it more and more now. These people still put this sort of stuff up. But nearly every comment now is shut the fuck up. You know, they're calling them out, like you say about this. They're calling them out. Yeah. And it's like, just because the media have hyped up, if we go back to the David Beckham situation, just because the media have hyped up the David Beckham situation, doesn't mean he's any better or worse than Andrew Tate. And I said this to my daughter's school. It's like, you're doing assemblies. Jess didn't know about who the fuck Andrew Tate was until you fucking did an assembly about it. Yeah. But now my 12-year-old is saying to me, who's this Andrew Tate, Dad? And
she's now gonna.
She now wants to know about it. She now wants to YouTube it. She now wants to know what he's talking about. And it's like I said, I had an issue with a teacher not so long ago, literally a few days ago. Jess was asked. She was doing a Shakespeare questionnaire, true or false, and it was Shakespeare this. You know, one of the questions: is it true or false Shakespeare was bisexual? And I'm eating my dinner on a Friday night, and she says that to me, and I'm like, what? So I rang the school and I said, I sent an email just asking for clarification. And her English teacher rings me back and she's like, yeah, but it wasn't a question about sexuality. I'm like, you're asking a fucking 12-year-old whether an author that they're studying their works, if he was bisexual, what the fuck has who he chooses to have sex with got to do with his works? And I said, I want the context. Well, no try to explain it anyway. It had to do with her. The head then rings me. And I'm having to do with her and I'm like, you have this agenda. You've no need to talk to a 12-year-old about sex. You know, we've already got a word for adults to talk to kids about sex. And it's, you know... And I went into it with her and she was like, well, you must understand that if we talk about Oscar Wilde, most of his plays were about sex. I'm like, yeah, but I don't think you'd be teaching Oscar Wilde to a 12-year-old child. And I'm like, Alan Turing, a famous Manchester man who was persecuted because he was gay and ended up killing himself, poisoning himself because he was gay, and that is so wrong. I understand if you're teaching about Alan Turing, you have to go into that. But we're talking about Shakespeare, and I said to her, you know, he had a wife and kids. Where's the evidence? She went, I can assure you there's Shakespearean scholars that would agree with me. I'm like, well, give me the cite it. I said, but regardless, I still don't get how that is. And when I pushed her on it, and I said, you know you've got an agenda. And she went, no, we haven't at school. And then she went, no, you know what? I will agree. Yes, we do have an agenda. I'm like, am I hearing you say this? I said, I wish this conversation was recorded. Yeah. She went, well, you must understand, if your daughter's been to primary school, that they allow children in primary school to explore their sexuality. And that fucking sent me off, mate. I mean, my daughter left primary school at 10, and you're telling me they're exploring their sexuality? I said, as a fucking adult, no 9-year-old is fucking exploring their sexuality unless adults are talking to them about sex. And it went off and big time. She was like, I'll take back the word exploring. I'll say finding their feet. I said, they're still not finding their feet. It's only if adults keep talking to kids about sex are they going to start talking about sex. I mean, when I was 10, what did I want to do? Fucking... I don't know if I want to be Thomas the Tank Engine or fucking Batman.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was still fucking watching wrestling.
That's what I mean.
So was all my mates.
Exactly.
But it wasn't really the cool thing to do. So we said we wasn't watching wrestling, but we all fucking were.
But it was football, wrestling, and Knight Rider.
Yeah, and then going out into the fucking woods where you fucking
walking around. Yeah, I wasn't exactly trees or making whatever. A camp. Yeah, thinking exactly, you were. And there was no talk about are you bi, are you trans, are you this, that, and the other.
I think, mate, to be honest with you, 70s, 80s, 90s kids, some early noughties potentially, but anything after that, mate, it's fucking
it's gone, yeah. And this is the thing, it's like my daughter's not on social media at all. I won't let her on it, and you know, my missus struggles a bit with social media, and I don't particularly go on it much, but have to for work. Obviously, we've got social media pages, but it's like you can see the chart of social media going up, and suicidality and teenage girls going up with it. And it's just like...
So obviously you've done some research on the teenage girls thing, obviously, because you've got one that's going to be a teenager soon, isn't it? So what's sort of the, you know, the outcome of that research and in terms of reasons why? Social media.
Snapchat, Instagram. Girls nowadays sexualising themselves at early ages. You know, how many times, like my daughter brings home a phone sometimes. She's got a phone. We monitor her phone. We go through her phone. And it's like, oh, one of the kids in her class has just had a spray tan, one's got their nails done, one wears makeup. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I can't tell a parent how to parent their child, but there's no need to sexualise 12-year-olds.
Is that so? I've not done any form of I'm not educated in terms of the phrase sexualize. So
well, here we go,
sexualizing yourself as a female 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl is things like nails, hair, tan.
Well, let's have it right. Look, there'll be plenty of women that might kick back about this, but same way as men go to the gym. You know, you get your body good so you look good. If you're out on the dating scene, girls wear makeup to attract men. Rouging your lips and rouging your cheeks started out because that's what the body does when you are sexually aroused. It flushes your face with red. So that's where lipstick and makeup started. So we can beat around the bush that women do it for themselves, but you never come into the house when your missus had a day on her own and she's got a full set of makeup on, a push-up bra, and fucking this, that, and the other. They do it because when they're out.
Yeah.
But the sexualisation thing, it's like this. Kate Hopkins brought it up a long time ago, just before lockdown, was PSHE in schools.
I think she's great.
Yeah, she is great. Personal, sexual and health education at schools. It kicked off, I don't know if you remember it in the news, a school down south. They started teaching the kids, then the parents asked for the curriculum and it kicked off. And so I emailed my daughter's primary school and I was like, can I have the curriculum? And I sent over bullet points and I went, no, I want the curriculum. So I sent over more bullet points and I'm like, no, I want the curriculum. You have to give it to me. So they gave it to me. And it's like, how to feel good in your body, how to deal with problem friends, how to deal with, issues at home and this, that and the other. And then tucked right in at the bottom, it's like how to masturbate. And I'm like, straight away I was like, right, okay, so I've got an issue with this, I need to speak to a teacher. So they've got a PSHE representative at every school now. And I went into my head teacher.
What year?
So this was supposed to roll out in 2019. So
year 5 or 6.
Yeah, so she would have been 6 or 7 then. It got pushed off because of the problems that Ofsted had with that school. And then they were supposed to give after the school kicked off, they were going to do a whole parent consultation about it. They didn't. They just started putting it in. And it's called the Jigsaw Framework in primary schools. Anyway, and it's mental. So you read through it and it's like fucking 3 hours worth of reading. I've sat there, I read it all, and it's like, they sing songs about being body positive and all this stuff, and it's all like this and happiness, and a little bit of time where they just sit there and go quiet, and then right tucked in at the bottom is explaining to primary school kids what wet dreams are and why boys might want to masturbate. And then tucked right in underneath that is an adult male teacher talking to my daughter that it's okay to masturbate and safe ways to masturbate. She's fucking 9 at the time. And I went into the school, fucking got a meeting with the PSHE officer and mate, it'll be it's in all schools. And Katie Hopkins warned us about it fucking years ago. And I went in and I said to him, this shit is not going to fly. And he was like, look, our rounds are tied by Ofsted, but I'm on your side. He said, we have to teach.
From that point,
we have to teach the science side, which I haven't got a problem with.
Yeah.
But this side of it, he went through it and he said, can you just direct me to what bits you don't want teaching? I went, none of that. You are not, as an adult man, I'm not even going to fucking talk to my daughter about it. She'll learn just like most other people did. Fucking when they see shit, read shit, magazine, films, when she starts being...
When they the way I remember that sort of stuff was kind of just fucking hearing it off your mate.
Yeah, you pick it...
Because he's got I didn't have an older brother, but my mate had an older brother, so then... He heard something, conversation, and then he's thinking he knows everything, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. Of course I know that, dickhead.
And it goes around the school, doesn't it? And it's kind of like that. You all have that awakening, all roughly at the same sort of time, don't you? You all start snogging. You all start getting off with birds. You all start going and meeting up with girls in parks and getting pissed and this, that, and the other. And it's like, I said this to him, and then he went, okay. And so what about all the? What about Pride Month? And I'm like, no, fucking just leave kids alone, man. Just stop talking to them about shit. And one of the other teachers was like, how do you expect Jess to understand different cultures, creeds and all this and all that? And I'm like, well, because I taught my daughter a really early message, a really early lesson at a really early time. He was like, just don't be a cunt, babe. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's people of different races, religions, colours, creeds, heights.
It is what it is.
We've got people who've come in a student are disabled. And she's like, Dad, go and fucking ask them. Go and ask them. Because the last thing they want is you whispering, how did that happen to your arm? How did that happen to your back? Yeah. My wife's dad is tetraplegic. And it's like, Jess, if you want to know anything, even if it's silly like how do you get out your chair, just ask him. I don't know, And I brought her up to be like that. You don't judge people. It's a weird thing.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't. I'd probably like, shut up, running.
Yeah, man, just...
Yeah, and it's probably...
It's true though, isn't it? It's embarrassment. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But you know what? These people would rather just go... Still the same person, mate. It's just I lost me. Like I'm sure you might know some guys that have lost limbs and stuff or whatever. And it's like the last thing they want is ever like, just like, what happened, mate? Fucking AED or fucking whatever it may have been, or car accident or whatever it is. You know, we've
just open up.
Just
ask questions.
This is what I mean. Just
be
open
human.
up. Yeah, be human. This is what I mean. And it's like it's really simple. I do this all the time, and we chat about this. The conversations we have with customers in the studio. And it's like, yeah, but how do you broach chat with your daughter? I'm like, babe, sometimes men love men. Sometimes men love women. Sometimes men love both. Sometimes women like being with other women. That's it. Yeah. There's nothing else that changes. Move on. We crack on. Yeah, we're moving on. That's it. So when you see two girls really kissing, we tattoo lesbian couples, we tattoo gays, we tattoo, and they come in, and it's just like, you know.
Jess used to, when I obviously knew Jess, you know, at the time, how old was she then? Like 7 or something.
Yeah.
So she was in the tattoo studio if it was like holidays or whatever. So that upbringing for her, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Fucking shaping her to be a fucking great adult, mate.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, all sorts. You know, we have literally every
She's not
spectrum.
Hiding in her bedroom, fucking playing games, sat on her iPad.
She talks to anyone, and like I say, we have from this end of the spectrum to this end of the spectrum. We have really nice to people I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of. We have people who are, like I say, we tattoo a few transgender people, and they're fucking great. They're brilliant. And like I said, you know, when they've come in and they've said, "Hey, my name's whatever," we're like, "Sound." And then they go, "Just to let you know," I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. Yeah. And we've had people that say, "Oh, you know, I'm coming out soon." I'm like, "Dude, you don't need to come out. No one gives a fuck." Yeah. And this is what we have this argument all the time, or not the argument, but discussion in the studio where people do that.
But you love it though.
I love it. I do. Yeah. I mean, it's broadened my horizons. Like I say, we have all different races, religions, colours, creeds, sexualities. You know, people are...
Do you think speaking to these people that have got all these issues on a daily basis for now what's it been now? The temple?
8 years, 8.5 years to be open.
It's a long time, so well done, mate. Because it is a successful business as well, so that's...
Yeah, it is a massive... I think it helps Abby as well as helping the customer. We have a lot of people who self-harm. We have a lot of people that do a lot of that, and self-harming and tattooing is a form of self-harm, you know.
Really?
Yeah, big time, yeah. It's
pain,
a release,
it's
a pain release. It's controlled pain release.
Well,
it's a self-inflicted controlled pain release. And we've had people that are like, I'm thinking of cutting. Is there any chance I can get in? And you know, we'll always stay up a bit later. We'll always try and help people out. You know, we'll always just go, yeah, of course, come in. You know, I'd rather you than hurt yourself. And you know, and we do a lot of scar cover-ups. We do burn cover-ups. And you know, we've had a girl who's come in, and she was badly burnt as a baby, all down one side. And you know, she came into us in the middle of summer many years ago. And she had this thick cardigan on, and she was like, "Can I go somewhere and show someone?" And Abby was like, "Yeah." I mean, I didn't see it to start off with. I saw her while she was getting tattooed. Mate, she wears lacy. It's simple things like that. That the scars are still there, but because the tattoo's over it now, you wouldn't give it a second glance. You would miss it if you really didn't look. And I grew up with a guy, my friend who's recently died. I grew up with him, and we'd been on lads' holidays. I'd been to his house and built brick walls with him and stuff, and he'd never worn normal shorts, and it just not clicked. And he did a load of work at the studio when we opened, did all the plumbing and stuff. And I said, "Oh, you know, work for work. So do you want to get a tattoo?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to cover this up." And he pulled his leg up, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
And how many
fucking hell, 10 years. Yeah, he had his leg was crushed in a motorbike. Actually, he stole a motorbike. Lad from Salford stole a motorbike, crushed his leg, and he said, "I don't want people to see it." Put Polynesian all over his leg, and because the shaping and the shit, and it hides the scarring. And for the first time, about 2 years after he started, he had the whole lower half of his leg done to cover it to start off with. He went, "I wore shorts on holiday. I wore short shorts," and you never any idea about it until he said, and he pulled his shorts up, and then just a simple thing like a tattoo.
Mad though, isn't it? What people are living with and they're covering up.
Oh mate, all the time. You know,
skin,
in your head. This is I say to my missus all the time. You know, and this is part of social media, and this is what fucks me off about social media. You know, social media is a highlight reel. It's only ever the good parts. You know, even in this, you'll take out the bits that might be particularly this or might be particularly that.
Mate, I promise you now, I will not edit a fucking single
part.
Not a
single part.
Not a single part. And you'll obviously, you know, you'll be able to. The only part I'll change is where we go to for a piss.
No one wants to hear that.
That'd be boring.
But yeah, it's like I say to her, you know.
And I've not edited or took anything out of any of the other 3 podcasts for 2 reasons. One, I don't know how to.
Yeah.
And 2, I can't be asked.
Yeah, you'll make a mess of it if you did. You delete it or something. Yeah.
I'd fuck it up.
But no, I said that to her, and I said about it's a highlight reel, so you can't compare yourself. And I think this is the problem with kids. This is what we're going back to the kids thing, is they don't understand that it's a highlight reel.
So obviously, they're bringing these things into the curriculum. We sort of like at the start of this said, you know, talking about mental health with just, you know, everyday people will help to a certain degree, but it's not the fix. So what could they add into the curriculum at the primary school level that could potentially help people?
Stoicism, man. I think men need to be more stoic. There's a time and a place to cry, but there's also a time and a place to suck it up. There really is a time and a place. I mean, Jordan Peterson says at your dad's funeral, be the strongest man in the room. You know, you're now the head of the family, and I'm quite traditional and I'm quite conservative. I'm liberal conservative in my views. I'm not, you know, I'm not talking a political standpoint, but you know what I mean. It's like I'm not religious either, but as I get older, I'm slowly coming round to, you know, that book might have had some truths in it, you know. And I'm not adhering to anything or everything. I've got atheist tattoo on my knuckle. But, you know, listen to people who know. You know, a wise man learns from his mistakes, and even a wiser man learns from someone else's mistakes. And there's a reason why all these generations have made us and have made us this way. And it's worked very well for a long time. You know, going back again to the military thing, I don't want some guy that needs a safe space fighting a war. I want a stoic Ardner who can control. And it's like, teach kids, let kids do these things. I mean, Jess grew up wearing dungarees, and it's cool. You want to wear dungarees. Yeah. But at the same time, Jess, girls wear dresses. You know, boys can do. You can do what you want. And if you go down to a primary school level, I mean, if you put two kids in a room, a boy and a girl, and put a doll in a lorry, the boy's going to go for the lorry. And the more we kind of try to push this, I think we're causing a massive problem. And this is why we've got a conflict of interest between men and women now. I mean, we see these boss bitches, these fucking girls that want to fucking dominate men. But that's cool, and that's all power to girls that do that, and some men like that. But I can guarantee you, when your biological clock ticks and you need to have a child, and you need that man to step up, the man that you've downtrodden and dominated for so many years, he ain't going to go and do 2 jobs and work 35 hours a day.
I see it now, and this isn't about me giving it the fucking big one at all, because, you know, I did do a few years ago, I was very much like, on the doors, fucking in the gym, taking steroids, wanted to be looked at as the alpha male, wanted to be intimidating, that was probably part of the reason why I wanted a sleeve. The only logical part of me getting a sleeve was the fact that it actually is stuff on there that's related to life.
To your life, yeah.
I always done that knowing that it wasn't just an idea that I had at the time. I thought, oh yeah, that's great, you know. I actually still to this day like it.
Yeah.
Does it mean something?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
But I wanted to be the alpha male, and then at a certain time I got into like a professional career, and I thought, do you know what, AJ, you don't need to pretend anymore that you're this guy, because at the end of the day you've got a decent personality, so just fucking roll with that.
Yeah.
But every now and then, if I'm in a situation where you have to switch it, then I'm more than happy to fucking switch it.
See, this is it, and the more we demonise this behaviour in young men. And this is the thing, it's like when people say this, it's like, you know, they go, oh, so you're advocating for misogyny and men being pieces of shit. No, they deserve to be fucking chopped down as good as anybody else deserves to be chopped down.
Do you know what, mate? Genuinely, do you know what I'd love in life, yeah? If we didn't have to be aggressive.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Fight,
I mean,
fucking shout. I'm spending fucking money now on a coach, and it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Because he's allowing me to be happy in my home life, in my work life, in my own fucking head. I'm not getting in my own way as much. And it's still early days. I'm not out of the woods with it, and I'll carry on. But fucking, I forgot I was going to go with that now. Fucking. But what I was going to say is irrespective of what he's going to say to me, I can't take away the core fucking person.
Your DNA is your DNA, isn't it? Your DNA is your DNA.
I just want to fucking feel some positive emotions in life, which I've not done since I was fucking 19, 20. Yeah. But if he can help me do that for fucking 10, 20% of my life, then win-win.
Yeah, this is what I say, like you say about we don't want to be this way. It's like,
but I'm not going to fucking walk through life, little Mr. fucking soft ass.
Exactly.
And then some cunt's going to take the piss out of me.
Take the piss out of you, yeah.
And
this is what and you know, it's how...
Or mug me missus off in front of me, and I'm not going to...
This is it. It's like, would I rather women be able to be safe in every space in the world? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, of course.
Would I rather, you know, women always being safe going home every night? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is...
Would you rather knowing that your fucking daughter could go on social media to send a fucking filter fucking picture to her friend and have a laugh, and there's not going to be some nonce in the fucking background posing? That's the reality, though.
The amount of stories we hear all the time is, you know, fucking years ago I used to work with a guy, and there was a fucking 17-year-old lad chatting up his 13-year-old daughter, and he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, you fucking slap the fuck, or you at least go and see his parents. Yeah. So he did, he went round, had a word with the dad. The dad just fucking slammed the door in his face. It's like, And then we've spoken to someone recently, and it's like a 30-year-old sending his daughter, I think his daughter's 14 or 15, sending her explicit images. He's given the guy a fucking slap. He's now going to end up doing time. And it's like, you know, fucking... we'd like the world to be a lovely, ideal place, of course, with no danger, of course. But that isn't the fucking reality we live in.
That's what you're saying, and so the guys like us, the guys that'll step up and fucking put people in the place where they need to be, we're the aggressor, we're the fucking bad person.
Yeah.
We're the one that needs fucking help.
Yeah.
And then you listen to that, whether you want to or not. That'll have some lasting impression. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I'm not fucking happy anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm still protecting people because that's just what I feel like I need to do.
It shows.
So that's why guys like me get to the age of 32 and go, what the fuck
am I doing?
What the fuck? I've worked my ass off in this career. I've got to where I wanted to be 5 years ago, and now I'm fucking bored.
Now society looks at you like a piece of shit.
And I'm still a cunt anyway in everyone's book.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking happy.
Yeah.
You know, I'll drink to fucking excess on a Friday night and do fucking stupid things.
And like you say, all of that is just numbing it. It's just numbing it.
And that doesn't serve me. So then I'll go, right, well, what else do I need? Right, food. Yeah. That'll make me happy for fucking 10 minutes. Sweet. Let's go and spend 30 quid on Just Eat.
Shite.
Yeah.
That makes just compounds the problem straight away.
Fucking bloated and horrible for the next 12 hours.
Yeah.
Then I'll wake up the next day depressed about it. You know,
but
it's just a fucking vicious
circle. It's a vicious circle. But isn't it funny how society nowadays, you know, Cardi B can sing about fucking wiping your nose through a fucking dripping slit, and we're all like, oh, women, oh, look, it's great, they're taking control, but you get slightly one alpha, and it's like, quick, tell all the schools to tell everybody not to talk about him, tell all the schools to demonise him. It's like, okay, if we're going to build up and we say this is the archetypal female who uses her sexuality to make money, more good to her. If you're going to buy her records, then fucking, if she's making billions out of flaunting her body, fair fucks to the girl. Personally, it's not my thing, but fair fucks to the girl. But at the same time, you can't then demonise someone like Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson, because Jordan Peterson himself has been massively demonised. Oh, you're blowing up incels and you're causing males to do this, you're causing males to do that.
He's had like a lot of like negative sort of
massive amount of flack recently, and look what that's done to him. He ended up being in a fucking coma. He ended up getting fucking addicted to fucking painkillers and tablets.
But mate, I think he's one of life's fucking treasures, mate.
Oh, absolutely. The guy is
levels above Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate's a hammer, and fucking he's a fucking computer system.
Do you know the thing with Andrew Tate? He is a hammer, but I think that's an act. Similar to Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury was like,
of course,
the media fucking bellend for a number of years, but then when he achieved what he wanted to, he just wanted to go.
Savvy,
He just was clever, mate. He thought, I want to make money, and I'm a fucking hard cunt, and I can box to do that. So he goes, how am I different from all of these cunts? Well, these are fucking boring. I'm not going to be. So he put himself out there. He made his name, and then. You know, that was him done then. He was fine with that, wasn't he? Everyone knew Tyson Fury. Yeah. Same with Andrew Tate. If you actually look at like Andrew Tate in a podcast, and it's a deep podcast as opposed to someone just interrogating him, he's actually a nice guy.
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, he comes across completely nice.
Nice guy.
And this is the thing. I get this all the time. I get it a lot. I get the you say things the wrong way thing. And I'm like, according to who? Because I'm saying it my way. You know, you can interpret what I say right or wrongly. It's up to you. I mean. I'm a great advocate of offence. You know, you take offence. I don't cause offence. You know, I would rather people who've got terrible views to speak out with these terrible views.
What's your thoughts on Piers Morgan?
He serves a purpose, doesn't he? I mean, the funny thing is that I find is, and I don't know who it is that said it, but years ago, when I was brought up down south, you know, if you voted Tory or you voted Labour or you voted Greens, you put the Sun or News of the World used to give you a thing in the middle of pages. People used to put it in the window, and your neighbour would be, you know, my mum and dad grew up voting Labour all their life, and they'd put the Labour thing in, and the next doors have Tory, and you'd be like, and mum would have a chat with next door, you voting, all right, how's the holiday? Yeah. Now, if anybody north of fucking Bedford says that they're going to vote fucking Conservatives, you're going to be hunted and you're going to be killed. And it's like it's come again back to fucking tribalism. So I'll take some of the things that Tories say. I'll take some of the things that Labour say. I'll take some of the things that SNP say. Don't get me wrong, I think they're all fucking shit. But again, going back to Piers Morgan, sometimes Piers Morgan makes a good point. Sometimes Piers Morgan's a fucking arsehole. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, you find yourself when he's being an arsehole, you're like, fucking shut the fuck up and let him talk. But then sometimes he'll make a point, you'll go, yeah, it's fair point now.
You are torn with him.
You have to stop judging people on one singular thing they say. everybody around the world can get something right at some point, and everybody around the world can put their fucking foot in it. Does Andrew Tate say something sometimes that you go, ooh, yeah? But fuck me, so does everybody. And we try to whitewash everything. We try to soft with everything. And it's like, no, I would rather a guy say to me, you're a fucking fat prick. And I'll go, yeah, I fucking am a fat prick. So fucking what? But what do you reckon to fucking the Formula 1 this weekend? And I'll go, I don't like Lewis Hamilton. And he'll go, Lewis Hamilton's my favourite. You have an argument, and then at the end of it, you go, do you want to watch Formula 1? Yeah, come, let's pop upstairs and watch Formula 1.
People are scared of disagreeing with people.
Oh yeah, I don't want it all meshed together. Imagine how fucking boring life's going to be if we all like Cardi B and we all hate Andrew Tate and we all watch Love Island. My sister loves Love Island. I fucking despise Love Island.
Never give it a chance, mate.
No, don't. It's debauchery. But hey, give it a chance. But this is what I'm saying. It's like she'll keep.
It's not interested.
Yeah, well, I don't watch any mainstream TV. Full stop anymore. I mean, I'm YouTube, or I go on Instagram or Telegram or whatever. Twitter now for fun. It just seems like fun on Twitter. But yeah, I YouTube, and I'm mainly reading. I'm trying to get my daughter into it because the vocabulary now at school is not pushing it, and I'm like, Jess, you need to read more. I think the single greatest thing to improve your vocabulary, your IQ, there's me saying that, and I say fuck every other word. Your IQ, your understanding of English, and understanding other points of view is to read. It's just read, man, and just do it on your own in somewhere. I've said to her, get 10 pages of a book and start with something you like. Yeah. You know, because trying to understand a book, like I've read Peterson, I'm reading Dostoevsky right now, Crime and Punishment, and it's like, it's hard to understand some of these books. It's really hard to get into them. But at the same time...
Still, though, you're learning.
Oh, yeah, you're learning, and you're researching what's going on.
That's it, you research. You go straight to Google then and you educate yourself. Of course you do. You educate yourself. And like you say, you end up down that fucking rabbit hole, and you end up listening to people you would never even... I mean, like Joe Rogan. That makes for an interesting life, though.
Yeah, of course. Like Joe Rogan. I started out listening to Joe Rogan when it was about fighting, UFC and stuff. I like UFC and MMA. And then he gets someone on and you're like, I don't want to listen to that. But you put it on it, yeah, I get his point. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever watched. I know what you're saying there, because I always go for like the things I think and when I want to. Yeah. And then sometimes you'll be driving and you'll finish a podcast.
And the next one just pops up,
yeah. Like, who's this cunt now? And then you'll hear like a preview and you'll go, oh, fucking hell, I'll stick with that, actually.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think of
Stephen Bartlett?
Which one's he?
So he's Diary of a CEO. He's on like Dragon's Den.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, mixed race lad.
I don't think I've heard of him.
Yeah, so he's again made a lot of good guests, and he's got no particular topic. He's just fucking like an all rounder really, but some good stuff that he's got there.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, and then I'll tail off onto the people he has on, especially some of the people he has on. Yes.
So let's just flip to a couple of things that I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, of course.
Actually. So drugs.
Yep.
What have you done? How long for? Was you ever any addiction to that?
No, I'm pretty good controlled. I think I do have an addictive personality. I train every day. Yeah. Drugs, all. Yeah. Used to knock a bit out.
What was your best times on them?
Ecstasy, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that we need to get away from this cocaine shit, man. This ecstasy. I mean, when I grew up, clubs were happy and bouncing. They were cuddling and friends, and I mean, watch Human Traffic if you want to get an idea. Then there was none of that bad shit.
Tried coke.
Yeah, tried coke when I was younger. I hate the fucking drug. I really fucking hate the drug. I see a lot of problems with it. I have a lot of friends getting a lot of fucking problems with it. Yeah, I've done. I think at one point I may have even smoked crack with my mates. You know what I mean? I've done most shit. Anything really. I've tried. Like I say, when I was younger, I'm one of them. I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound, mate. I used to deal in weed and shit and knock it out with the boys and smoke it and pipes and mushrooms and
mushrooms. What's the crap with that? That's something I'll be honest with. I want to give it a go. And like
try DMT, man. Yeah. Try DMT. I'm telling you, it's Joe Rogan's a massive advocate of it. It's called the I think it's the God particle. Fucking without going massively deep, Joe Rogan did a podcast about a guy, Brian Modescu, about the Animatia muscara. That won't be said right. It's the mushroom, and they believe that it got into wine. It was called ergot back in the day. Like we're talking back fucking before. This is Egyptian times, and it got into that, and it went all through Rome and fucking all of this, and they were just what they were doing was flavouring drinks, and they didn't realise. And the Enlightened. So it's to do with Marcus Aurelius, the gladiator, another film Gladiator, where he decides he doesn't want to wage war anymore. It's because he went to the Enlightened and they gave him DMT. And I was anti-religion. Like, I still am anti-organised religion. I mean, I think it's all bullshit. I think a lot of it, these big pastors that have got these massive auditoriums and they're worth billions of pounds.
Waste of money.
Waste of fucking... This isn't religion, you know what I mean? But the book, I mean, I listened to the Jordan Peterson, and I think that's what's opened my eyes to it. And he did I will get back to this, but he did a thing with Dave Rubin, and he's like, you know, when it says go into the God's kingdom, who's your God? It doesn't have to be that man on the cloud.
No.
You know, to a child, to a young man or a young girl, dad is their God. And to be to the promised land is to be in a dad's favour. And he, you know, the way he described it, and I'm like, man, this ain't a fucking book about this. This is a book about people who have lived. And it's funny because you look at it, because like go back in the day, the weakling who was born a weakling probably died. You know, the great warrior got with a great female and they had a load of kids, and the weakling probably died off. The strong one married another strong female because his dad told him to, and that created, and we trickle down, and we're a product of hundreds of thousands of years of DNA and generational like nonce, and it's gone now, so it's gone down and down and down and down and down, and we've got to this point. Anyway, so this DMT shit, I've had it, and I swear I saw the Virgin Mary's face.
Serious?
Mate, I'm telling you, when you go, you fucking go, and you go to a different place, and you're in and out in 5 minutes, and there's no after effects, and you don't chase it, you don't come off it and go, cool, let's do that next weekend. You go in, you come out, and I was just like, you sit there and you're like, fuck, man.
What would you say, spiritual? Would you say?
I don't know, what do you define as spiritual? Because to spiritual me, it's about...
When you come out of something, you go, there's more to the world than what I see on a daily basis. And
oh, mate, yeah. I mean...
That's just open the door.
See, I have this conversation with people all the time about time travel. I believe... I'm with Einstein, and like there's a lot of modern stuff about there's alternative realities. I'm already there. I don't need to be spiritual about that to be there. Yeah. It's funny because when you do DMT, you often see animals. And you often see animals mixed with humans. And if you look back in like Greek mythology, you've got the horseman, like the man, half horse, half man.
See, as soon as you said that, third eye.
Yeah.
That's what I
imagined. This is it. Yeah. So you see that. Now go back and look at cave paintings from when people first started doing it. What are they always? The fucking horse with a man's head. Yeah. And it's like there's mushrooms, and it's like this podcast. You should watch it. He explains it. It's like after Marcus Aurelius and after Christianity took over. You know, when they walk through and they've got that thing and they do it, well, they used to burn ergot in that to make people see the enlightened. And that's when they say people used to go to a higher place. And it's exactly that, mate. You seriously need to try it. But the way they explain it on this podcast is, and this brings it all home, and this makes you fucking think, when it got outlawed. So when the warlords, Aurelius, gave it over to the politicians, they outlawed it because they didn't want anybody else to be enlightened. So the elites that controlling it. Yeah. So when the elites still wanted it, it had to be delivered. It had to be delivered a certain way. Generally, to let them know you were doing it, they wore red clothes and they brought it to your house in a brown sack, and they came in through your window or through your chimney, Father Christmas. Wow, people have said caribou in like Canada, when you're pissing, they're attracted to the piss when you've had DMT and mushrooms. What happens when you have mushrooms? You think you can fly. Santa Claus, flying, mushrooms. Go and look at any 70s and 60s cards, Christmas cards. They're always fairies in mushroom houses with Christmas trees, flying, fairies with little sparkles coming out.
It's all fucking
linked into it, mate. Yeah. It's all tied in together. And then you sit there and you literally just put it in your phone, like 60s American Christmas cards, and it's all in there. And it's like Joe Rogan says, everybody alive should do it.
Do you know this world, mate? I actually just think it is it's just a puppet show, isn't it?
This is what I'm saying. This is what I say about these alternative things. Are we literally living in a simulation? A lot of prominent scientists do say they think...
How important, mate, is the 9 to 5 and business and fucking money and property and
this sound really important.
That we get told to live for.
But this sound really important, isn't it? Because
it's been manufactured, though.
Yeah, without going back to him again, it is a matrix. We're in a game, aren't we? We're in a fucking game.
It is a game.
I mean, let's be honest. School.
The poor stay poor. Yep. The middle class fucking get poor. And then the rich stay rich.
The rich stay rich. The controlling people stay controlling. And you have to... I mean, it's like when we talk about women staying at home when they have kids, and other women and men demonise them for doing it. I think they fucking should do it. Yeah. Definitely should do it. But it was the Rockefellers that initialised women going back to work or going into work. Well, when you can't tax 50% of the population, you lose out on a lot of money. Yeah. So you then empower these women to think that's the right thing to do. And don't get wrong, for some women it is. My auntie never had children. She worked her whole life. She did really well in her life. But you empower these women to do this, and you sell them this story, like we've got now with all the boss bitches. I'll fucking tell my man what to do. You empower them to do it, but you're not doing it for the reason that you're telling them. You're doing it because now you can tax a load of the other 50% of the population. And it's fucking crackers.
Money, isn't it?
It's money. But I believe it is massive.
Then you drive up the costs.
Of course you do. And then you've got everybody fucking slaves to the system. No, I think it's equally as very important and also not important. Jess brought an assignment home from school the other day, my daughter, and it said in it, what can we live with and what can't we live with? Examples, food, internet. And I'm like, what about a guy that runs his business who needs the internet? He needs that to earn money to pay for food. You know, we need the internet in my shop to be able to connect to stuff when we do card payments, or we need the internet in my shop to be able to research stuff or send stuff from an iPad to the printer. So when people go, well, you don't need the internet, well, we fucking do to survive, because there's no way we could do it otherwise. I mean, yes, tattooists can still draw on the tracing paper themselves, but it turns a 3-hour tattoo into a fucking 8-hour job. So my daughter then printed